because we ask a couple different questions. Nick Sorensen, he was under a microscope and then he wasn't under a microscope, and now it's okay, well, these guys just need to be better. I feel like he's kind of ducked some smoke, Chris, as it was getting hot. It's kind of cooled off, and I want to heat it up a bit as it pertains to what he's done for the team or hasn't done for the team. I just think the whole thing is a bit confusing as to how much is on him versus how much is on the players versus how much is on just the coaching staff as a whole. Because, again, you have a situation where the team defensively isn't what they have been in the past, and I think somebody has to take up for that. And if Kyle Shanahan, that's why you bring on Brandon Staley, if they were I think what it was, honestly, maybe they were willing to take a step back defensively because we were talking about paying Brock Purdy $60 million, and this offense was going to be good enough for them to take that step back. And that just hasn't happened. It just has not happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's kind of I agree with you. I think it's been under-discussed, under-talked about, and I think Sorensen has kind of definitely flown under the radar in terms of flack, and I kind of don't think it really matters if it is on the players or him, because I think normally in situations people don't discriminate. It's just like, hey, you look, I don't care if you're the greatest coach in the world and your defense isn't performing, that's still a reflection on you. And yeah, I mean, I think a lot of people maybe are giving him the benefit of the doubt because he is in his first year, and maybe there is a deeper understanding that some of this is Brandon Staley and not him making all the calls, and maybe Kyle Shanahan even has a say in some things that are going on defensively. But I mean, yeah, the defense has definitely not been what it needs to be in order for them to compete at this level. To me, that's the one thing that's just the biggest difference in everything from what the Niners have done in the past. Like, people talk about the offense and, yeah, we'll have conversations about Brock Purdy and Kyle Shanahan's play calling and things like that. But the Niners have had the luxury of having a top 5 defense pretty much their entirety of their Super Bowl window, and now they're middle of the league in just about every stat. And I haven't even looked at some of the advanced numbers where I think they were dead last in the NFL in some of the EPA stats. And so I think that's the big thing that the Niners have to fix if they are going to be looked at as a true competitor or somebody who's going to contender, I should say. And I don't think it's going to change. Like, you can't just change your defense overnight. I think we see the talent that they have. They have some cornerstone pieces, but I think as a whole unit, the defense hasn't really shown me anything that makes me believe they're just missing tackles or it's something that can easily be adjusted. To me, it feels like that there just may not be enough talent completely to go around on that defense. And to me, it's the number one thing they have to fix.
And we didn't even get to this. They still had special teams issues.
Man.
In the second quarter, they allowed that 55-yard punt return.
Yep.
Where they just got dudes falling on the ground as they're attempting to make tackles. So there's still special teams issues.
Ronnie Bell was on the ground.
Ronnie Bell, this is from Matt Barrows. How did the 49ers allow a 55-yard punt return in the second quarter? 3 players fell to the ground during the return. Ronnie Bell, Tatum Bethune, and Demetrius Flanagan-Foles.
That second interception by Brock, too, that's on Ronnie Bell.
Kyle said it was on Brock.
No, Kyle Shanahan
directly
said
it was Kyle.
He said it was a bad throw.
Yep.
Brock said it was on Brock.
Yep.
Kyle said it was on Brock.
Aaron Rodgers would say it was on Ronnie Bell.
Ronnie Bell wouldn't be in the building.
That's true.
He would be gone. He would be locked out.
Gone.
But a lot of people first, and I do think that's interesting, right? First, you had people say, I'm going to assume. And you know what assuming does. But this is when the interception first happened. I'm going to assume that interception was on Ronnie Bell. Then Brock came out and said it was on me. And I had to read comments, Chris, of people saying, I think Brock is just taking up for Ronnie Bell because he's had a rough go. Then you had Kyle Shanahan say that was on Brock. So it gets to, is everybody covering for Ronnie Bell all of a sudden? Come on, man. He's not a perfect player, Brock Purdy. Nobody is.
Yeah, I think it was just that play specifically, I can understand why Now, when somebody tells you twice, like you're saying, when somebody tells you, with the players involved tell you, like, no, like it was a bad read, you should probably listen. But
Right.
I can't understand, because especially in the moment, it looked like, and I think even Brady said, and Brady again was very open to criticize Brock Purdy, so it wasn't that he was trying to shill for him. Even Brady, I think, was like, yeah, you don't know if that's a miscommunication or if that's just an overthrow or yeah, if maybe Ronnie Bell did just kind of undercut the route. And so I understand why at the time there's some confusion, because I definitely thought, I just assumed it was Ronnie Bell's fault. But yeah, I mean, once the coach and the quarterback involved tell you, yeah, no, that's just on me, I think you have to listen and just accept that. Again, like you said, he's not perfect, and it was just a completely overthrown ball, and maybe it was a misread by him.
Yeah, when it was Brock, fine. But once Kyle Shanahan said, no, that was on Brock, that's when I said, okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
I don't really know why. I guess
especially not for Ronnie Bell.
Right. I think it's possible, but I just don't really know why Kyle Shanahan would lie about something like that.
Especially maybe to ease, like you could have used that to ease Brock's bad performance. Like,
exactly.
Oh, no, that one actually wasn't on him. We'll give him a break for that. But no.
Yeah. No, that was not the situation. But, plenty of blame to go around, Chris. And the Brock Purdy conversation, I'll put it to you like this. And I had Brock in my top 10. I believe I had him top 7. There are games where guys just don't look good. It just doesn't look right. And I get it. I'm still paying Brock because it's what the market is, okay? The $55 million, whatever the case may be, because I do think Brock is better than Tua and better than Jared Goff. But yesterday was a game where the takeover aspect that you've seen from Mahomes and from Josh Allen and in a different way from Lamar Jackson, I was wondering if Brock was going to be able to tap into it, because let's not forget, he played really well in the Super Bowl. Same defense, okay, couple different parts, but Spagnuolo defense. But yesterday was just not a good performance. It was just there's no way to put it. I'm still paying him the money, but when it comes to his ability to take over a game, I don't know that you can count on Brock to take over a game as much as you would say that a Lamar, and I know, but he went to a Super Bowl. Stop. Lamar Jackson can take over a game more than Brock Purdy. Am I saying that Lamar is a better quarterback straight up? Probably. As far as the quarterbacking position, I think they both do things really well. But Lamar can take over a game in a way that Brock Purdy cannot. Josh Allen can take over a game in a way that Brock Purdy cannot. And obviously Patrick Mahomes. Okay, so that still puts him in my top 7, something like that. But yesterday it was almost a, like I said, Chris, a levels to this conversation in every sense of the word. You had articles coming out saying Brock Purdy's been playing better than Patrick Mahomes. That is undeniable this season. Fine. Okay? But as that saying goes, Chris, a Chrysler 300 looks like a Phantom until a Phantom actually rolls up. And that's what we saw yesterday. Patrick Mahomes is that dude. He didn't even play that well, but there are things that he's just able to do that Brock Purdy cannot. So let's just stop with those conversations as far as Brock Purdy and Patrick Mahomes. I know people were trying to keep into the context of this season, and I understand that. But you then something like yesterday happens, and now you just look stupid. So let's just not do that anymore. Okay? I'm not saying you did, but it's just there was a clear difference, and Patrick and neither of them actually played that well.
Yeah, Mahomes has actually had a really bad season, so I do think it's fair to compare the two. But yeah, I mean, I think it gets a little bit sticky. Patrick Mahomes, for what it's worth, 6 touchdowns, 8 interceptions this year so far. So it's been a very bad season, especially
the defense has been winning games for that.
Absolutely, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Brock is necessarily in those top 4 conversations of the Mahomes and Lamar and Josh Allen and those things, but yeah, you clearly saw that there's a different level to it, and it's like you said, it's not even like Mahomes really set the world on fire, but when his team needed a play, he created it. It was him, and nobody I think thinks that Brock Purdy is necessarily at a Patrick Mahomes level, but I do think it comes into the new contract that he's going to get, where, like you said, you would like him to be able to take over a game. Now, maybe not against the Chiefs. Maybe that is too high of an ask. But I think at some point here, especially with at least one receiver out, it seemingly for a lot of these games, feels like you would like Brock Purdy to win some of these games by himself. But then again, I also think Niner fans can't really decide what they want, because Brock Purdy starts doing things by himself, and then all of a sudden he's not following the offense. He's just being a Kyle robot. And then we have callers like TC earlier who says, see, this is what happens when he follows Kyle Shanahan, is he throws 3 picks and he's not playing loose. He's not playing free. So, I think that it definitely plays a factor into his next contract. But like you said, I think he's getting that contract regardless. And it's just going to be more and more highlighted when he is making that money. Nights like days like yesterday, I mean, you don't have to win them all, but I think you would just like to see a better showing from somebody who you're going to give that kind of money to.
925, Baker is better, Goff is better. Again, these conversations go from better or playing better. I'll give you this, 925. Baker goes out and balls out tonight. Let's have a conversation. And I know Goff just played pretty darn well yesterday as well. Let's see what Baker does tonight. And I'm willing to have that conversation about right now, because that's what we do with Brock when he's playing well. Who's the best, or who's playing the best right now? But on the other side, we go around the NFL. Rex Ryan sounds off on his old team. You talk about Brock taking accountability. Well, that's something that Aaron Rodgers simply doesn't do. We have your injury tracker, and Tua speaks on the future of his career in the NFL. Stiles and Watkins, Sactown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento